What's going on, guys? So in this video I got two games back to back. The first one goes pretty well, as you'll see. In the second one, second one's a close game and it's actually pretty exciting, but I'm not going to talk too much about the game. I was thinking about a lot about my personal football career today. I don't know why. And how confidence and complacency were really um, big factors in how my football season went. So in grade 10, I tried out for this all-star team from the whole league. It was like there's 8 teams in the league, and they pick the top players from that team from the league, and they they play against other top players from other leagues in the province because I'm from Canada. So I go into this, and I end up making the team, and there's only two quarterbacks. There's me and another guy from my school who's in grade 12. Um, I feel like I was the better athlete. I hadn't had as much experience as he had just because he was older, but I definitely felt like I was the better athlete, and but I wasn't expecting to start because I was younger than he was, and he had a lot of confidence. And he pretty much told me that he was pretty sure that it was going to be his team, and he was talking like it was. I went in with I went in with confidence, but I wasn't expecting to play. So right before the first game, we practiced for about 4 months before, and before the first game, the coach tells me that I'm starting, and I was a little shocked, but I wasn't surprised. I knew I could do it, so we played that whole season out. It went pretty well for me. It was my first time. Of course, it was a little interesting because it was my first time playing. I went from playing JV to playing against the top players in um, senior, which is so I went from playing in the grade 9, 8, and 9 league to playing against all the top players in the province from grades 9 to 12. So that was a huge jump. So obviously, we had a good season. It wasn't amazing, but I was one of the only guys from my team who started, um, and I was so young, so I thought for sure I had so much confidence going. So going back into high school season, it's the same guy who I had just beat out, and he was obviously very upset about not playing in Prairie Fire. But I went into the season cocky. That's the difference. I wasn't confident anymore. I was cocky. I thought, you know what? There's no way that I'm not gonna play. I already proved that I could beat this guy out. There's no way he's gonna start. So we go into training camp. Well, there was a couple months before the season, before summer started. We had a little mini training camp. I didn't play awesome, but I wasn't too worried. And then during the summer, I didn't do much. I played a lot of baseball with friends, which kind of wrecked my throwing motion because I'm a quarterback, and I wasn't. But I was so sure that I was way better than he was because I truly thought so. But going to season a couple weeks before, just like it happened to me, the coach decided that I wasn't going to be the starter, that I was going to be the backup and play when we got up big and in those situations. So I was, of course, not happy about that, and I kind of spent the season complaining, and I just wasn't too pleased. I remember a lot of times he'd be playing and he'd make mistakes, and I'd be telling the coach "Why aren't I in? This is I proved in Prairie Fire that I was better than him." But I was living in the Prairie Fire days. Or in Prairie Fire, that was what the team was called. I was living in those kind of days rather than focusing on. So he obviously he was majorly cocky before the other season, but he got humbled though. He realized that he needed to work if he wanted to play on our high school team, and he did that. So power to him. I was a lot taller. I was 4 inches taller than he was. I was faster than he was. I had a stronger arm, but he wanted it more. I wasn't really focusing too much, so he played that whole season, and I got to play the odd time, and it was good. But then I went back to Prairie Fire, and he was gone. But the thing I learned from that experience is that to not take anyone for granted. When the other season started, I there was these two guys who were a year younger than me, and I was not gonna take them for granted one bit. I was gonna practice hard, because I didn't know. Even though I was a senior and I'd already started for the team for a whole year, I wasn't gonna go in there expecting to start. I was gonna have to earn it and pretty much act yeah, I was just starting from scratch, just like I did the year before, just and get the starting position. So I ended up starting for that whole season, and it was a really good season. And I went back to hunting, and I started for that team again. But I still think back to if I hadn't been so kind of cocky and arrogant in the um, going leading up to the Hunting Hill season. I think I probably would have had a chance if my if I would have played a little bit better, because I wasn't focusing too much on it. I think I would have had a chance to start both years, and then even though we won the league title both years and we were by far the best team, but I think if I would have got that other year starting, I would have been a lot better this year. Even though I did play really well, I just think I could have been having 4 years of starting quarterback experience would have paid huge dividends to my career. So yeah, that's the whole thing. Like if you watch the Brady 6 documentary, Tom Brady talks about when he was at Michigan, and he was the senior, but they brought in that young guy who was faster than he had a stronger arm than he had, and Tom, like, every week he said he was worried that he wouldn't start the week, because if he didn't have a good week of practice, he knew that he wasn't going to start. So he just practiced like that every week, and he ended up getting the starting spot and did not let it go. And he was saying how with the Patriots, it's the same thing. Even though he's won 3 Super Bowls and is every week he goes into practice thinking, well, I might not be able to keep this starting spot, so I gotta practice like and not be confident in your abilities, but just not be complacent, and that's a majorly important thing in sports. And like in this year this season was actually a funny one. There's a team, a crosstown rival, and I play with a lot of them in the other league, and it was just like we did not like each other. So the first game we played, huge crowd watching, and we've won 3 of the last 4 league championships. We're the top dogs, and we just fold. Like, we play terribly, and their whole team just, I think our offense just could not do anything. It was the worst game I'd ever played, and they went from being confident to extremely cocky. Like, they were all over social media talking about how we're done. Like, our team they already have it made, and so we both win the rest of our games. We play each other again mid-season, and they beat us again. They beat us by a touchdown this time. They beat us by 1 point the first time. So we were majorly humbled, because we had a lot of confidence, because we hadn't really had any tests like that in the last few years. So we go into the league final game, and because we both make it there, and our team, like, you could tell they had they already had the bus to go to provincials booked, so they were asking guys on our team's girlfriends to come to their victory party. Like, they were cocky, and that just drove us. And as soon as you're cocky, that got them very vulnerable, just like it got me vulnerable when I was cocky. So we ended up playing them in the final. We beat them 44-14. That was the last game those seniors played, and it was amazing. It was probably one of the best memories I will ever have, and the fact that they were so so sure, and they were so sure that they were going to win, and then we took that away from them. That was a great feeling, and just another reason why, like, I think if they would have been a little less cocky and they focused more on the game rather than their after party and transportation to the next game, I think maybe they would have a better shot. I do feel like we were a better team, though. Everyone thought that we were playing really nervous, and yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about for this video, just about how you never get too comfortable with, like, confidence is knowing that you can get somewhere and that you can do something, but complacency is thinking that it can't be taken away from you, and that you don't really have to work for it. And you definitely want to have confidence in life and in sport, but being complacent it does not end well a lot of the time. And the people who are complacent, they usually get put in their place, just like I did, and just like the team we were playing against did. So yeah, that's my little story for this video, and yeah, that's about it. And in this game, like, it has nothing to do with thing, but in this game was close. Like, I threw a pick 6 on the first drive, and that was not good. But then we were both just kind of scoring at will. Like, it was just, I could not stop him, he couldn't stop me. And then this final drive, I think I get him to a 4th down. Not this time, but the next time I get him to a 4th down. And it's like the luckiest throw I'd ever seen. It's not this one, but how does he get it here? I know it's 1st and 10. He gets it and then tries to throw a screen pass. So here I call another timeout, and I think it's this play because this guy went for it on every fourth down. He never punted, and right here I think he throws it, and like I'm like that's got to be picked off, and he catches it. So that pretty much was the ball game. He ended up winning that game, so that moves my record to 6-1 on the season. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I thought I'd talk about something else because it's not easy to talk about Madden for 11 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that, and maybe probably didn't learn anything, but just reiterate, you probably knew all that, but I thought it might be interesting. So yeah, see you next time.